POA and Fit Body Boot Camp communities. What's up, everybody? Robert Linkul, trainingtheolderadult.com. Nice to see you all. I've got a couple of little updates, couple things that we're going to talk about here. Primarily, we're going to dive into some updates on information regarding grip strength, and I'm going to give you a couple of grip strength exercises that you probably don't think are grip strength exercises, but help quite a bit. But we're also going to kind of look at some new research of how valuable grip strength assessment is. I just did and recorded a presentation for the Fitness Business Association, FBA, and their Succeed online event that's coming up in August. This is a free conference, by the way, virtual conference. You can head over there. I'll put the link in the comment section or in the description below, so you can go over there and register. But I did my 8 assessments, 8 exercises or strategy session assessments that we use with our new clients that are coming in. We also use these with Fit Body Boot Camp as well in the Fit Body Forever group. So I did a highlight overview of that, have some examples there, but the grip strength is a key component to that. And so I want to make sure we kind of cover some of that today as we briefly go through this. Little update too, if you want to head over to trainingtheolderadult.com, you can register for a webinar we're still kind of putting together the details, but mark your calendar. It is June 17th, that's a Monday at 11 a.m. free webinar, and we were going to talk about the key components to our training. It's kind of this trickle down funnel menu of content, and we're going to talk about everything you see on here in a little bit more detail, in greater detail of how we actually apply it. It's going to be pretty good stuff. If I had to give like the top 5 secret blah blah blah, it's one of those kinds of things, but I'm actually going to give you some really good stuff that's very actionable. So it's obviously not just smoke and mirrors. I think you'll enjoy it. So check us out Monday, June 17th, 11 a.m. Head to the registration link. I will provide that in the description as well. All right, this article is December 2023, so 6 months ago. Basically, it's one of those like ask the reader, ask the author kind of a thing. So grip strength, an important biomarker for assessing health. We've done a couple of videos in the past on grip strength, how valuable it is. If you have a low or a poor grip strength, that's a biomarker for a lower quality of life and maybe a predictive measure of a lower or a higher risk of a mortality rate. And it's kind of funny when you say that, like, everyone's going to die, so we all have a mortality rate, but meaning when you have a higher mortality rate, that means that you're going to die sooner. You're not going to live as long, is the point. And if you're weak in the grip strength, this is a biomarker to show you're not living a very active or a very healthy lifestyle, and that's only going to compile and get worse with all these other components, arthritis, and I'm not going to jump the shark, but you'll see all those in a minute. Okay. Dear doctor, I'm a 46-year-old woman and recently moved to be closer to my family. I have a new doctor who surprised me by talking about grip strength. She said it's an important measure of health. I never heard that before. Can you explain? All right, dear reader, grip strength refers to power generation by the muscles in the hand and the forearm. They work together in actions such as grabbing, pressing, crushing, rotating, and pinching. Grip strength plays a direct role in someone's ability to hold, pull, lift, or heave an object, and it dictates how heavy that object can be. Basically, how much you can hang on to is going to dictate how much you can lift. In many cases in lifting programs, we are limited by how much we can actually pull or row based on not being able to hold on to the load. And you get to a point where your grip is the weakest part of what we have. I could pull more weight off the floor. I could row more weight horizontally if I could just hang on to it. So that's where grip strength is a pretty big component to this. All right, it also comes into play in dynamic setting with actions as varied as opening a jar, throwing a ball, pulling weeds, carrying groceries, holding on to the handrail, or hanging onto a chin-up bar. Measure of grip strength includes an amount of pressure one can exert at the length of time that they can sustain it. At the length of time that they can sustain it, meaning your grip strength on a dynamometer. Let me grab my dynamometer here. I always have mine within grabbing distance, just in case somebody's like, hey, I want to test my grip strength. We leave it out sitting here anytime. And then regular clients, people that are either higher concerns for grip strength, I actually have their scores taped into the box. So I can just go, oh yeah, Joyce here, Kenton here, Frank here. Like, I've got all their scores just taped right in there so we can see exactly what they did last time. So that's a dynamometer, okay? And there are many different ones. These ones are about $30. There's some that are like $200, $1,000. There's some really, really nice ones out there that are extremely specific and like very, very efficient at giving you the most precise is the word I was looking for, measurement. This one, pretty good, right? So you're gonna zero it, you give it a good squeeze, 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 and it's gonna tell you 102. And then I hit start again, and then we're gonna squeeze a little harder, and I get 120. And then you get one more try, you're gonna squeeze it as hard as you can, and we get 120.8. And so I would say there's my score. Basically, we let people try up to 3 times, maybe 4, or as long as they keep getting better. And then we do the other hand, okay? And then you're going to look at your chart and go, okay, I'm a 44-year-old male, and you know, where do the other 44-year-old males rank? And so just for the giggles in the shit skis, let's take a look here and see for me. Oh boy, I've got everything taped in here the wrong direction. Way to go, coach. Boy, see, I've got everybody taped in here. All are in here. Okay, males, 40 to 44. I should be squeezing. The great range would be 121.9. So I'm a pound away from being in the great range, which, you know me, I'm gonna have to try this one more time. I'm gonna show you. I can get it. There we go. 135. What's up? Yeah, now we're talking. I just needed some motivation. If John Thomas was here, we'd be battling, and then he would be like, okay, no more playing around. 170. Let me just show you how it's done. That's what these guys that work with, gearheads, as they call them themselves. They work with cars and they're constantly wrenching and turning shit. They have amazing grip strength. Okay, you guys, most of you gearheads out there, you are the exception to grip strength testing because a lot of them don't exercise, but they have amazing grip strength. So you're like, I'm gonna live forever. Look how good my grip strength is. No, you're eating pork rinds and cottage cheese. Like, you're not gonna live forever. This is not, it's not great. Okay, anyway, I'm ranting. Okay, considering many ways using your hands, it's easy to see how this type of strength affects every aspect of daily life. Research shows that grip strength is also an important measure of overall health. In adults of all ages, has been found to be a reliable predictor of muscle strength. Sarcopenia, this is with the function and muscle mass, bone mineral density, and nutritional status. Is that not crazy? So basically, if you squeeze a poor score, there's a correlation that you have the opposite of all these. You have low muscle strength, low muscle mass, low bone density, and a poor nutritional status. That assumption is made and is upwards of 94% accurate in most of the people that score this. So you can see correlations between low scores and high scores and healthier habits, and less disease, and not such healthy habits and more disease, all based on this one very simple assessment. You saw how quick it was for me to measure and do this. You can be done with both hands in less than a minute and have a pretty good idea of what the virtual quick snapshot of the person in front of you is, just based on this one thing. Now, if you do a pulsometer and get their O's, their oxygenation level, and their resting heart rate, and then do a 30-second sit to stand, that's the basics of our sarcopenia test right there. If you do those 4 things, 2 are in the one pulsometer, then grip strength and sit to stand, you got a pretty good idea of who's sitting in front of you, okay? In older adults, grip strength is used as an indicator of vitality and as an accurate predictor of something in physical and mental function. I'm not sure exactly what that says. So this is one last little bit of this too. Basically, the research continues to link a decline in grip strength to a range of adverse health issues, including heart disease, arthritis, osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, osteopenia, all those, type 2 diabetes, and certain cancers, all connected to this. This is why this is such a key component. Like if people are squeezing poor scores, this is now like you should be, ringing the bell of like, there's a problem here. This is why I've continued to say over the last, 8 to 10 years that we have been using the word sarcopenia and trying to say end sarcopenia, end underloading, right? Stop sarcopenia, end underloading, is that when I don't have to yell, I'm microphoned, when you see individuals that aging process that are just frail, that was your choice to become frail. You don't have to be that way. There are millions of people who are choosing to stay muscularly dense, functional, high capable, bone dense, well nourished, cognitively stimulated, smart individuals as they age all the way through their 90s and then die with a good functionality and complete independence. But there's this assumption that this is just what age is. I'm just an old person. This is what happens when you get older. And that, my friends, it's bullshit. You do not accept that as an answer. Just because you're getting older doesn't mean I need to have somebody else open my pickle jars for me and open doors and windows because I can't, because I don't have use of my hands anymore. That's not acceptable in my opinion. You can train yourself to be able to do that forever. And by training, I mean physical training in here. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. We talk about 20 minutes twice a week, 40 minutes out of your life can actually hang on to the majority of this strength and ability and function that you need. Now, if you up that and do even more, even better, sky's the limits, but you get the idea, right? A lot can be done with a minimal effort to help us overcome all of this stuff. It has also been found to be a predictor of in the likelihood of post-surgical complications, post-surgical recovery time, and mortality. There you go. So those that have this weak grip strength are basically showcasing a biomarker that there are weaknesses, vulnerabilities throughout the body, that you're a higher risk for cancer, higher risk of having issues when you go in for surgery, when you're coming out for surgery, higher risk there. So the correlations coming through of, we're gonna use a grip strength dynamometer in that snapshot of how strong your grip is to get an overall assumption of how strong and how functional your whole body is based on pretty much a 94% of accuracy, which is pretty good, right? You're gonna have 6% of outliers that don't fit into this, but the majority of people, whatever this score tells you, high, medium, low, you're gonna be able to assume certain biomarkers based off of that. And majority of the time, that's very accurate. I saw one study that showed how many medications individuals with poor scores, it was like 6 or more, to good scores, it was like 2 or less. And that was, again, within like 93 or 90% accurate. I mean, it's astounding how something so simple can give you such a great indicator and a full body understanding, if you will, or a full body scan, if you will, of how capable and functional somebody is. So what this doesn't mean is that you need to just sit around and squeeze grip strength stuff all the time. And that's what this next part is yeah, there's plenty of exercises you can do to improve your grip strength. What it really means is you need to start using all of your body and all your functionality and just doing more, okay? One of our clients, one I've talked about in the past here, just started with us about a month and a half ago. I think we've been calling her Jenny is what the name I've been using. Again, I want to protect some of my people here, so we use a fake name. But Jenny has been coming in, like 5 or 6 weeks, and just told me today and got emotional about it, which I then in turn started to get emotional, but started to talk about how her knock on wood, her sleep habits have drastically improved. She had insomnia and has had insomnia issues for a majority of her life. And I was like, you know why you're sleeping better now? Because your body has a reason to be tired. You spend the whole day at like 50%. And then when you come in here, you're like, whoa, 80% efforts, 90% efforts this week, 100% effort. I got to come down from that. My body's got to recover from that. So now when the time comes to go to sleep, your body's like, yeah, dude, shut it off. I need to recover. We pushed hard today. But when it's just 50, 50, 50, 50 sleep, 50, 50, 50, 50 sleep, you don't have a great likelihood of getting good, deep sleep because you're not pushing the envelope. You're not, stressing your body enough to the point where it needs to recover, okay? So that's the first part. The other part, she feels better all over, feels like her energy's better, all the aches and pains in her hips and her shoulders and her neck, all those things are starting to go away. And again, she keeps knocking on wood every time she talks about it. She's like, I don't want to jinx it, but I'm really making some good improvements with this. And that's the beauty of it is what is she doing? Twice a week, 40 minutes of resistance training in here with me. So she's getting 80 minutes of resistance training in. And really, if we broke it down to how much time are we actually lifting, she's got to warm up, she's got to cool down, she's got all this other stuff that we do. So she's probably getting 60 minutes of actual lifting in a week. 230s is what I would say she's actually getting. But I'm pushing her hard, right? We're pushing hard. So you got 168 hours in a week, 1 hour that she's putting into working really hard. And look at all the great things that are occurring from it. Now, We get to a point where she could do maybe 2-3 days a week. She's walking on her other days, right? Riding bikes or going golfing or going swimming, just being active. That's the whole idea of this. If you start doing all of that, the grip strength increases. But let's say you have arthritis. Let's say you have carpal tunnel. Let's say you have neuropathy in your hands. Let's say you have some hand-based issues. There are exercises to do, right, to increase that. I thought my hand just went over that a second ago. All right, improving your grip strength. That includes squeezing a tennis ball. I wouldn't do that. Just invest in a really good one. Tennis balls are not designed to be grip strength tools. They are designed to take impact of great demand from a racquetball or a tennis ball and get propelled in another direction. There are plenty of tools out there. I'll put a link in the description of some of my favorite grippers that you can use to help your grip strength. Wringing out wet towels, very good. They also have a little crusher. It looks like a dog toy, like a chew toy, and you could grab it and it's designed to be twisted and bent like that. And your whole idea is like help you work with your grip strength. Hanging from a towel around a pull-up bar, even if you don't get off the ground, just grab onto it and then lean back and just try to get your musculature to turn on and just lean there. Even if you're doing like a reclined row, just leaning your body back against it and holding on with the towel. And or using a towel, put it through a kettlebell and do your rows or do your curls just hanging onto the towel. A lot of extra grip recruitment is done through that. Okay, lifting weights with pinch grips. You could grab, 2, 3, 4, 2.5 pound plates and just pinch them together and pick them up and hold them, or carrying actual, 10, 15, 20 pound plates with a pinch grip. I will warn you of this. If you have any kind of carpal tunnel, ganglion cyst, ligament damage, anything around your wrist, pinch gripping is actually rather detrimental for that, especially with a cyst or with a ligament tear. That can rupture and burst again. I've had 3 surgeries on this wrist specifically because of this. Every time I started pinch gripping again, it all blew up and popped out and damaged and tore again. So be careful with that. Loaded carries are different than pinch grips. Like carrying a kettlebell or dumbbells with a full grip, totally different ball game than when I'm pinching, trying to carry something like pinched together like that, right? Versus I'm just gonna grab this thing and carry it. That pinch grip is what can cause a lot of damage, okay? We talked about the dominant hand as your dominant hand is in many cases when you do the grip strength test, it'll be your weaker hand, to be honest, because a lot of times it's your more dexterous hand. Like I take 2 groceries in each bag, 2 bags in each hand, and I'm carrying from the car. And when I get to the door, I put all 4 bags in my left hand or on my left arm, and then I grab the keys with my right hand and I have to open the door, and then I have to, whatever I'm doing, I'm doing it with my dexterous right hand. I'm right-handed. Then I grab this arm just gets all this overload work of being not like the smart arm, because this is the smart arm that does all the coordinated stuff, but it's kind of the dumb strong arm. And it's just like, just give me all the weight, I can carry it. And this arm's like E equals MC squared, right? Like this is the smart arm, the dumb arm. Typically, the non-dominant arm is gonna squeeze a little bit stronger. Okay, what did I do? 135 on my right? Let's see if what I just said right there holds up. Okay, here we go. Left hand, 127. So that's still better than the original test that I did. Let me go again. 115. Uh-oh, going the wrong direction. Here we go, last one. And 132.2. So I'm pretty consistent. 135, I think, on the other one. So pretty consistent over 130 on both hands. That's great. I'm happy. Where we get concerned is if you do this and it's more than, I'd say, 10 to 15 pounds. If I did 130 in this hand and 115 over here or 110 over here, then I'm concerned that I've got too big of an asymmetry, too big of a gap between those, and I want to start doing more grip strength stuff with my left hand, or even putting heavier loads in that left hand to try to catch it up a little bit, okay? So some of the grippers I will show you. You can also use buckets of 2.5 or 5 pound buckets and just fill them with uncooked rice. Just toss it in there and you can grip and move your hand back and forth. Great for your elbow, your wrist, this and that. Some people use sand, it's too messy and too painful. These are, and this is the one additional tool that I like to tell people about. This particular brand is called Iron Mind, and this company, they make all kinds of strongman and training tools, and these are little resistant rubber bands, okay, that you can see on there. It says Iron Mind on it, and it's a whole set, right, of 2 yellows, 2 whites, 2 greens, 2 blues, etc. And you start with the white ones and you put them around your fingers like that, and you start to work on your extensor strength. Because you know what we do a lot of in life is we grip onto stuff. So if you think of, let's take a wall of a house, okay, or a wall that you want to build to keep deer off your property, a fence or a wall, whatever you're going to do. You set up this wall and you put all these buttresses on one side, right? So if anything pushes on the other side, this is the Walking Dead. All the zombies are going to come and they're going to push into the wall. Well, I'm going to put a buttress. I'm going to put up all this stuff, right? If I were on the inside, how hard would it be for me to push that wall over? Because all the buttresses are on my side. I could just go up and just push the wall over. There's nothing supporting it on the other side, is my point. Now, obviously, you wouldn't really build a fence like that. There'd be plenty of support. My point is when we're giving supports of muscular efforts and design around musculatures, ideally we want to do at least 70-30 from one side to the other. Most of us are 70% quad, 30% hamstring strength on the other side. Should it be 50-50? Yeah, ideally, but you have mechanical advantage. We have all kinds of other things that go on around the joints. But for the most part, you're always going to have an asymmetry from one side being a little bit more developed than the other. Okay, so it doesn't always have to be 50-50, but that doesn't keep us from pursuing that. So if we grip all freaking day, yeah, then our forearms on this side are probably going to be pretty well developed. What about the extensors on the back side of the arm? The stronger we get the extensors of our hand and the extensors in our forearm, the stronger our grip is going to be on the other end, because now we're supported on both sides. Now the amount of stress that we can take can come from either end. I can grip really well or I can extend really well. My hands are capable and strong in any direction, not just constantly gripping down, which again is most of what we do athletically, whatnot, but not all the time, right? Pitchers, javelin throwers, etc. If you're a fighter, you're going to be throwing your punches, and then you have to grip and grab onto guys, UFC guys, wrestlers. We have to be able to grip and engage and open our hands and work with our hands. If your hands are constantly curved in, then they're going to get stuck that way, almost in like the fetal position. And that's when you do start to get carpal tunnel syndrome and you start to get neuropathy issues that start to occur in your hand because they're getting curved and almost like broken in and stuck there. So how can we work on wrist extension and finger extension? That's where these guys. So you start with the whites, then we go on to the greens. The greens are the next one, then we have yellows and reds, and you kind of build your way up. You don't have to buy these. I'll put the link in there. You could get just little rubber bands from the vegetables that you buy at the grocery store and put those around your hands, or just, go to Office Max. I don't care. Put a couple of rubber bands on there, and just when you're sitting in a chair, or when we're driving, I'll take these with me, and I've got one hand, or if I'm at a stoplight, I'll put them on, and I'll just go until my forearms burn so bad that I just can't take anymore. And you'll feel the whole backside of your hand, and you're like, wow, these are little rubber bands. Like, why is this so fatiguing? Because we don't train it. And it helps a ton from blood flow, articulation, and disbursement of blood all the way down into the deeper capillaries and the deeper densities of your hand, which helps a ton in fighting off all these other diseases, to keeping the coordination and the dexterity of all the little pincers and the little fine specific movements that you can perform with your hands. All that is pretty valuable in this grip. So it's not just about crushing. It's about extending and rotating and articulating and doing all kinds of different drills with your hands on a regular basis to make sure you keep that skill set. This is a skill set we should have our entire lives. It's a very simple component, just like walking. We shouldn't have to use a walker or a cane as we get older. You should be able to, God willing, you don't have any car accidents, you don't break anything, you should just be able to keep a functional gait your entire life. And then, 102, die of a heart attack, like whatever it is, whatever it kills you, just die of old age. Whatever it is, it happens quick, but you're completely independent. That's our goal for everybody, okay? Get another rant done, but you get the idea. So Rob, is this just one article? No, there's a whole bunch of them, and these go all the way back. This was all the way back to 2019. And then if you look at my other videos, that I've done 2 others on grip strength in here, those go back to further information all the way back to 2013. I show you like 6 or 8 other articles. So this is a continued researched topic that is showcasing what a valuable assessment this is, but what exactly is it telling us? And based on that, what other information can we start to assume? These are good assumptions, again, within pretty much 94% accuracy. Can we make assumptions of the individual in front of us that we're going to need to work on? Because for the most part, they're going to be sarcopenic, osteopenic. They're going to maybe have an obesity or an extra adipose tissue issue. Maybe they don't have great cardiovascular health. Maybe they don't have great cerebral abilities right now. Maybe their thought processes are slow. When you take like a system, what's the iOS systems of like the original one, the speed of it, and now we've had updates and updates and updates and updates. It's so much faster and more efficient, but it's older. Do you understand? Like the system is still the same system. It's aging along with the computer. So how is it getting better? It's being updated, it's being trained, it's being utilized, right? It's kind of the same idea for our bodies. Like if we keep training it and keep updating it, we'll keep getting better, even though we're getting older, right? And now I don't mean better in terms of I'm going to outlift or outperform the 30-year-old me at 50. I don't mean that. And that would be a very rare occurrence. Usually only occurs in people that didn't train when they were 30, but they started to later in life. Then yeah, you could probably do better, okay? But what I mean by this is, what do we all assume at 50, 55? I'm going to get my AARP card soon. I'm going to get over the hill. I'm going to start wearing penny loafers and slide on shoes. And I got to start playing bocce ball and fucking ping pong and whatever else. Like I got to start doing old people shit. That's the assumption. Okay. But the new generation of aging bodies are like, no, I want to keep doing all the cool shit I was doing when I was younger. I want to keep golfing and rock climbing and hiking and biking and swimming and kayaking and all that jujitsu and whatever else they're into. There's nothing wrong with that. If you keep updating your system, you'll maintain the ability to do that, at least at a recreational fun level. Like maybe you don't win championships anymore or whatever, but maybe for your age group you do, right? There's senior categories for everything, and those senior categories are broken up. Usually at 35 is masters, and then your masters all the way up to 95 to 99, gang. Like, go to the senior games, watch everybody run the 100 in 25 seconds. But it's awesome to watch these 100-year-olds running, you know? This is cool. They have not lost. Keegan sent me a video of a guy who's like 102 and he's still walking on his own, talking very articulate. We think 100, the guy's gonna be, you know, barely able to move and he's just hanging on to life every day, trying to set the record. This guy's out walking around, living life, doing shit because he stayed active. He works out every day. He's engaged. He's constantly challenging both mind and body. How do you know if you're susceptible to any of this? The most simple biomarker, $30, invest in this, test your grip strength. Let's see what we got to work on. If the score is low, start improving everything, anything, all of it across the board. If it's high, keep doing what you're doing, and maybe you find an area, obviously you won't be able to see from the grip strength score, but maybe you find an area or two that you need to improve on. But if you're squeezing high, you're probably living a pretty healthy, pretty athletic, pretty capable life, and just keep doing that. And where we see concerns is every 3 months or so you test grip strength, you're like 80, 80, 80, 85, 85, 45. Whoa, what happened? Something neurological happened. You pinched a nerve, you had an injury, like something happened. And this can be an indicator of there's a problem and you don't even know about it yet. We've had plenty of clients, not a ton, but plenty of clients where the pulsometer and the resting heart rate and the grip strength gave me enough to say, you need to talk to your doctor. Something's not right here, and there wasn't. Something was wrong, right? Everything wasn't okay. So these are little indicators that give you a pretty good idea, a bird's eye view, but a pretty good idea of what you're dealing with. And then you can find either the right health professional, the right fitness professional to help you focus and zoom in on those, each individual areas, and figure out which one you need to focus on a little bit more to improve your overall health, performance, etc. All right, gang, that's enough from me. Comments, questions, hit me up down below. Remember, Monday, June 17th, 11 a.m. Check the link down there. Register, join us for our webinar in which we're going to give you the top 5 secrets of the blah, 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 the non-secret secrets that I'm going to give you a bunch of really good stuff. Just going to kind of walk our way through this and tell you how we train each of these pieces and why it's so important for us to do so. Basically, the keys to training for anybody over 50 is right there in that picture, and I'm going to share it with you. So hop on there, join us. It's going to be really fun. Any other comments, questions, let me know. If not, continue to fight your good fight against sarcopenia, everyone. Take care, and we will see you in the next video. Adios.